skate. Ain't no thing. Natural. Welcome to another episode of Video Game Therapy. I am VGT and this is the week. This Friday we can finally pick up a copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake and hopefully relive what in my opinion have to be some of my most memorable gaming moments growing up. After the absolute train wreck that was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, we're hoping for some sort of redemption from the franchise here. And like most franchises that forget how to make good games, they've decided that they'll remind themselves by remaking good games from their back catalogue. This better be fucking good. Anyway, to get into the spirit of things, I thought we would take a look at all 19 levels from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and rank them in order from worst to best. Right, let's stop fucking about then. I've got 19 levels to get through. Starting off at number 19 then, and this should be a surprise to nobody, we have Chopper Drop from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's a fucking half pipe in the middle of the sea. That's it. That is the full level. Granted, this is a bonus level that you only unlock for getting 3 gold medals with every character in the game, including Custom Skater, Officer Dick and Spider-Man. But come on, imagine putting in all that work and this being your reward. In at number 18 we have Downhill Jam from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Gasp! What? What's the big surprise here? I don't get it. Why do people love this level so much? I guess you could say Downhill Jam wasn't my jam. I can completely understand why it exists. At the time of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, all skating games before it, and even some after, followed this downhill skating model, where it was basically a race to the finish line where you pick up some additional points for finesse and tricks along the way. But the thing that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater did best was changing the formula into the arena mode that we're all familiar with, where you have a time limit and the emphasis is on completing challenges and tricks. But obviously at the time there was no guarantee that this was going to work. This was something that was out of the norm and new, so they stuck in a few downhill levels in there just to be safe. I guess people liked them because they stuck around and even got a really shitty Wii game dedicated to them. The level's okay, it just doesn't reflect what's great about Tony Hawk's for me. And it was frustrating to know that if you missed something on the way down, you had to wait till your next run to grab it because you couldn't turn around and go back on yourself. Next up at number 17 is Streets or San Francisco from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's really not an awful level, but it's really not a very good one either. I mean, again, this was the first Tony Hawk game, so there wasn't really a benchmark for how a skating game level should look. And for this one, it was like they thought, well, let's just make a level that's really, really big and empty, with not really much to do in it. That's basically what this level is. This is supposed to be set in the streets of San Francisco, and apart from the tram that moves around the edge of the map, this level feels about as alive as the Chernobyl exclusion zone. In at number 16 is Venice Beach from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Venice Beach is a pretty iconic level. It's one of those levels that's seen plenty of reworks in later games in the series. So why is it this far down the list? Well, for all the cool things about it, like the rooftop skating areas, some of the game's coolest transfers, and who could forget Ollie the Magic Bum. The majority of the level is actually just this big open area at the centre that really doesn't have much to do in it. Some stairs and rails. Halt! But do you not know that this level is modelled after a real iconic skating area in the real Venice Beach? Yes, I do know. And I'm sure it's pretty fun for real skaters out there. Unfortunately, for ones that are flying around maps at impossible speeds, pulling off impossible combos, using impossible physics, this just isn't a fun area. Number 15, Skate Heaven from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Skate Heaven, man. I actually had a lot of fun on this level back in the day, and even when playing this level for this video I was still impressed at its quirkiness. However, the level itself, while fun to fuck around on, is actually kind of annoying, especially with the outdated movement mechanics. Because this level is a hodgepodge of different skate areas thrown together in outer space, nothing is really cohesive, and whilst each individual area is cool to skate, trying to get around the whole map smoothly just ends up with you smashing into walls consistently or even falling out of the map entirely. Number 14, Burnside, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Again, this is another iconic skate park from real life. Being that this one has more balls and verts than Venice Beach though, this one is considerably more fun to skate. The Neversoft Eye was also super cool. I don't know why, I just liked it. Whilst the map was pretty small, it's for a competition run, so on the game you only get a minute to rack up a score anyway. It's not everyone's cup of tea, this level, but it holds a special place for me. And that is number 14 out of 19. Maybe I didn't like this level as much as I thought. Number 13 is Skate Park Chicago. Better known as just Chicago, it isn't dissimilar to Burnside. It's just a small level based on an indoor skate park. It has a vert and a ball and some rails. It's okay, I guess. It just reminds me of a less iconic version of the warehouse level. I'll be totally honest and say that I had completely forgotten this level even existed until I was playing through the levels for this video. The only reason it made it to where it did on the list is because despite its small and basic design, I really enjoyed playing this level and it actually flows really nicely. Number 12 is Downtown Minneapolis from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So this is another city level, and in many ways it's similar to Street / San Francisco. The big and important difference here though is that it's set at night. This immediately and weirdly makes the level feel more alive. It's dark, you can see the city lights, it immediately explains the lack of civilians. Like San Fran, there isn't a whole lot to do here, but what there is to do is much more memorable than San Francisco. The big plaza in the centre is much more suited to the mechanics of the game rather than it being modelled after something real. Number 11 is Philadelphia from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Another big city level, and I mean this one is massive, huge by Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 standards. However, this time the map is carved up pretty well and you're never far from something cool to do. There are multiple insanely long grinds to challenge yourself with, and oh yeah, there's a full skate park in this level. The kind of skate park that they would pass off as a full level in earlier entries in this list. There's a lot of fun to be had here, but not unlike the other sprawling city maps, there is a lot of dead space which prevents this one from getting any higher on the list. It's strange because as a kid I remember being so happy with all the huge levels, but with my modern game head screwed on, I realised that these really big ones just seem to be big for the sake of it. The city levels are commonplace throughout Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series, but only on very few occasions have they actually got it properly right. Top 10. Entering in at number 10, we have The Mall from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. The downhill levels are just not my thing. Okay, I know this is a little hypocritical, and when I came up with the idea of doing this video, I'd already decided that this and Downhill Jam were going to be pretty low down on the list. However, I actually had a ton of fun playing this one today, and after reviewing my decision to say I don't like Downhill Jam but I like this one, I went back and I played them both side by side. This actually cemented it for me. They might both be downhill levels, but Mall is far superior to Downhill Jam. The huge air jumps you can make are a lot of fun. The verts at the beginning are great for catching some early points. The secret tape is in a place which just flows better with the level. The only thing that is missing is a proper vert area or a ball, which I think it would really benefit from. Number 9 is New York City from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I really like this level. It's another city level, but this time the focus isn't on it being needlessly massive. Why this one stands out for me is that it's kind of the only level with some real verticality to it. You have the sort of mall shopping area which is lower down, and then you have sort of the main level which is above that. And then above that you have the raised tram tracks that are running above the city which take you around to the secret area. It's the 4th level in the game, so the combo lines are pretty straightforward, but that really helps with being able to get around this city cohesively. Plus, who doesn't want to skate New York City as Spider-Man? Number 8, here it is, the classic, It's Warehouse from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. This is where it all began. In its infamy, this level has become completely iconic. It's been featured a ton of times on various entries throughout the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. And it's down to one simple reason. This was the first level on the first game. The fact is that this level is really dead basic. There's not much really to see or do here. On my first draft of this video, I had this level much further down the list for those exact reasons. But it was only after a few plays through this level that I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Because whilst there isn't much there, I genuinely think this is one of the most perfect opening levels to a game ever. This level was supposed to be designed simplistically in order to show new players the ropes. Remember, there was nothing like this game before its release, and I think taking that into account, this level is actually pretty ingenious. It delivers the full experience of playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater without giving too much away, but makes the player hungry to unlock new levels and find out what the rest of the game has to offer. Number 7 is Roswell from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Dude, Roswell. This fucking level was so awesome. I mean, yes, take away all the cool shit to look at, and this level is kind of just a basic skate park layout. It's definitely fun to skate, but it's not going to blow your mind. What did blow my tiny 9-year-old mind though, was all the cool shit to look at and find. There's fucking tanks and alien bodies and dinosaur bones and flying saucers. This level really epitomised the quirky, I'm not taking myself too seriously model that became a staple of Tony Hawk's games throughout the next few installments, until post Tony Hawk's Underground 2, where they just legitimately stopped taking themselves seriously altogether. Number 6 is the Bull Ring from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The Bull Ring is my favourite competition map from these two games. Again, it's only small, but this one doesn't confine you to just the skate area. You can ride up and grind around the actual bleachers, and of course, there's the part where you can ride through a ton of actual bull's shit whilst the bull chases after you. But if that wasn't enough, the main event of this fucking awesome comp map was one thing: the fucking loop-de-loop. There's still to this day something just really awesome and enjoyable about riding that thing. Number 5 is School from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. School is the final entry from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 on this list, and that makes it, in my opinion, the best level on the game. School is actually one of the bigger maps on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but its space is all used really nicely on this map. Despite its size, the level is divided up into a kind of linear system, which funnels you down through a really cool street area and eventually into a vert area with pools. There's some cool stuff to find on the map as well: the rooftop area, the gymnasium. It's just generally a good time, and it paved the way for all the school levels that came after it. Number 4 is HANGAR from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The first level on THPS 2. I'm not sure whether it's just the nostalgic connection I have to it, or whether it's actually a brilliant map, or both. Similar to Warehouse from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, the idea here is simple. The level is there to introduce the concept of the game to the player. This time though, the player has probably already experienced some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, as it was a pretty big deal, so the level just has a bit of extra depth to it. It is really similar to Warehouse, almost criminally, when you look at the way things are laid out. But there's just a bit more to it. It's got not one, but 2 secret areas. And whilst there's not a whole lot in them, there's something tied deep within me that still feels a sense of complete wonder that there's whole areas locked away waiting to be uncovered. And once they are, it almost doesn't fucking matter what's inside them, but it's just pure euphoria being in there. Secret areas, man. Number 3 is Skate Street, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Whilst I maintain that Bull Ring is my favourite competition level in the game, that doesn't mean that I don't think Skate Street isn't a better level. It's just so well designed. So well designed, in fact, that I can't understand why they didn't flesh this out into a full level rather than a competition level. It's packed with awesome routes that you can take to rack up the points, starting with that high grind and drop into the verts below. It has an indoor and an outdoor section, and for me this level just epitomises why small levels done well will always outweigh large levels that are pretty basic. Number 2 is Marseille from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Much like the last entry, Marseille makes it so high on the list for its amazing level flow. The level boasts the biggest pool area on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, where you can rack up some serious points. However, the rail system that circles the whole map and leads back to the street area where you started is probably the highlight of the map for me. There's absolutely no excuse not to be crushing the points on this level. The combo lines are near perpetual, and that for me is what Tony Hawk's Pro Skater has always been about: fast pace, satisfying combos. This level delivers that in boatloads. The secret area on this level is just so well placed and so subtle, it still blows my mind to this day. You have to knock over this random piece of wood that kind of doesn't stand out and just sits in the background, and that breaks a hole in the fence, and behind it there's a hole in the floor. This one has to go down as one of, if not my most favourite secret area in all the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. Finally then, in first place, what else was it going to be? It is School 2 from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This map is fucking iconic, and rightly so. TC's roof gap, roll call rails, the gymnasium, everything is just fucking awesome about this level. They absolutely butchered the fuck out of this level on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, and they better make amends on this one. It's such a great map to skate, with really cool lines and a multitude of different areas, rooftop areas, indoor and outdoor areas, hidden areas, pools, verts, street, rails, gaps, transfers. It's got everything, and that's why it rightfully takes the top spot on this list. So there you have it. That is all of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 levels ranked from worst to best. I had so much fun making this video, mainly because I spent all afternoon playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I hope you guys are as excited for the remake as I am. I'm going to be streaming it on Friday night over on my Twitch channel, link in the description. Drop in if you want to hang out. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. If you disagree with my list, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to argue with you about it. I'll see you next time. Ugh.